everybody understands what's at stake right now. The difference between success and failure will be measured in months, not years.
OTC.
TC is go.
STC.
STC is go. Verify no constraints and go for launch.
We will explore the frontiers of space and push the boundaries of what's possible.
Space Council is go.
LPs go. RTDs go.
This is what it takes if we're going to get the job done.
Good morning, and welcome to NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. I'm Vanessa White, Director of NASA's Johnson Space Center, and it's my pleasure to be here with you today. We're about to unveil the agency's Artemis III mission and introduce you to the extraordinary crew who will lead humanity's next steps toward the moon. We will have several speakers providing updates on Artemis III mission profile, Artemis acceleration plans, and mission science. Get ready for an inside look at innovation, ambition, and the future of space exploration. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman.
Thank you, Vanessa. I am so grateful to be here with all of you as we discuss the Artemis program and announce the 4 astronauts who will undertake this very exciting mission. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the leadership of President Donald Trump, the incredible bipartisan support from Congress, our international partners, including the European Space Agency Director, General Josef Aschbacher, Italian Consul General Mauro Lorenzi, and the talent across all NASA centers and the most technologically advanced aerospace industry in the world. All of you are contributing meaningfully to this undertaking and helping us achieve what is such a daring and inspiring and world-changing endeavor. We are returning to the moon, a grand adventure back to the lunar surface to build a moon base and to do so for all of its scientific, its economic potential, and to master the skills for where we will inevitably go next. The incredible crew of Artemis II was just the beginning, and they did an absolutely outstanding job. As a test mission, they were the first to launch on the SLS rocket and test the Orion spacecraft. Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen showed us the moon again, and they showed us the Earth again. They helped reinvigorate the world's interest in space exploration. And now, just as Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo crews that came before them, Artemis II will pass along all they have learned and hand the torch to Artemis III. Over the next year, they will train for their mission, ensure the lessons learned from the prior crew are implemented, and assist in the development of the landers and operational procedures that will be necessary for their colleagues on future Artemis missions. Artemis III will be an extraordinary demonstration of what is possible when the greatest aerospace companies across the United States, alongside our European partners, come together to showcase the technological might and ambition of the free world. When their training and development are complete, these 4 astronauts will strap into their spacecraft. You will witness the contributions of Boeing, United Launch Alliance, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, L3 Harris, and Airbus, and many others come together as the SLS rocket ignites the Artemis III crew and sends them into low Earth orbit. Additional powerful rockets will launch to place the Blue Origin and SpaceX Starship landers into orbit. Throughout the duration of the Artemis III mission, these astronauts will continue to test the Orion spacecraft. They will rendezvous and dock with the Blue Origin lander, and then again with the SpaceX lander. Think about how many spacecraft, all of which will eventually carry human beings, will be in orbit at the same time. From Dragon, Shenzhou, Soyuz, possibly Starliner, Starship, and Blue Origin landers. This seems like the beginning of the future that we imagined as children. This seems like the very beginning of Earth's first Starfleet to me. Will we use Artemis III to get into the rhythm of multi-launch campaigns, test the interoperability across several systems while close to home, learn and improve, and inform the changes necessary when the torch will be passed once again. Now, preparations for Artemis III are already underway. The NASA team, our contractors, and our partners will start stacking SLS this summer with the aim of beginning early wet dress testing before the end of the year. The interested public will be able to follow along through all the key NASA milestones, along with Blue Origin and SpaceX as they launch uncrewed tests of their reusable rockets, gather data, implement improvements, and converge upon the Artemis III readiness no earlier than this time next year. In parallel, we will not slow down. The expectation of your NASA should be that we can pursue and achieve many extraordinary objectives at once. In a matter of weeks, we will host another moon-based event. To set expectations, we plan to issue awards and provide updates routinely. In the not-too-distant future, we will be tuning in on the moon-based website, watching landers and rovers and moonfall hopper drones and other tech demonstrations and science payloads landing on a near-monthly basis as we practice the science of survival on the lunar surface. Alongside industry and our Artemis Accords partners, we will experiment with power, navigation, surface mobility, communications, and other critical systems as we learn what does and does not work in the extreme environment of the lunar South Pole. Now, coming up later this summer, America's next great exploration asset, the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope, will launch and venture out nearly 1 million miles into space with the aim of further unlocking the secrets of the universe. And there are further big science missions like Near-Earth Object Surveyor, Rosalind Franklin, and Dragonfly coming up on deck. Now, to realize the spacefaring future, we will work tirelessly to ignite an orbital and someday, perhaps even a lunar economy, working alongside industry to usher in the first commercial space stations. In the months ahead, we will invest in high-temperature materials, power conversion, radiators, advanced space structures, and assemble the first fission-powered interplanetary spacecraft. Before the end of 2028, we will launch the first mission of what should be many more to follow as SR-1 Freedom finally gets America underway on nuclear power in space and delivers the Skyfall payload to Mars. The X-59 team is already past the sound barrier, and we are well on our way to rebuilding the X-plane portfolio with greater investment in faster and higher capabilities as we aim to blur the line between in and out of atmospheric flight. As I've said many times, your NASA team will not sit on the sidelines and wait for all these exciting initiatives to be realized. We are embedding SMEs across the supply chain, doing the kind of engineering and building necessary to deliver the outcomes only NASA is capable of achieving. We can do this all while the Artemis III crew prepare for and undertake their important mission, while the rest of the astronaut corps plan for their missions ahead, including the vital work on the International Space Station. The NASA astronauts, alongside our international partners and tens of thousands of the best and brightest across the agency and industry, are ushering in the golden age of discovery. They are carrying forward the hopes and dreams of the next generation, just as the Apollo astronauts did for so many of us. When Gene Cernan left the lunar surface on Apollo 17, he said, "We leave as we came, and God willing, we shall return with peace and hope for all mankind." Now, it's taken a little bit longer than he may have imagined, but we are returning, and we do so with the experience of Apollo, the lessons of Artemis II, the crew now of Artemis III, and the promise of what lies ahead, and our collective effort to build out humanity's first outpost on another world. So to the Artemis III crew, we wish you Godspeed on the journey ahead. You carry the fire of exploration from generations past, the confidence of this agency, and the support of this nation, and the dreams of millions who will be cheering you on, knowing that what others believe to be impossible happens to be what we do best here at NASA. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Artemis generation. And now I'll turn it over to Jeremy Parsons for an Artemis III update.
Good morning. It's great to be here with you and to be part of the excitement as we progress forward towards Artemis III and our future missions to the lunar surface. Since adding the Artemis III test flight before our first crewed moon landing, our team is focused on developing the mission to test about as much as we can how we operate with our commercial partners across systems, teams, software, and hardware in the entirely difficult environment of space. We want to do this in Earth's orbit before we return to the moon and establish an enduring presence there. We demonstrated to the world during Artemis II that we can fly our astronauts around the moon and bring them home safely. The mission gave us insight into performance across all of our systems, how our teams operate together with crew in the deep space environment, thousands of miles from home. That is why we do test flights. We learned. We found things we needed to improve, and our teams are already hard at work solving those issues to make Orion even more capable. Across the Artemis II campaign, one of the biggest things we demonstrated is that testing like we fly puts us in the best position for success. Artemis III is an opportunity to take those lessons and apply them. It enables us to test in space how we will fly on future missions. As the first crewed Artemis mission with commercial spacecraft, this test flight will enable us to prove we can carry out highly choreographed operations with our partners across hardware, interfaces, software, propulsion systems, and life support elements, with crew in the high-stakes space environment. Are we able to launch in sequence with our partners across multiple launch pads and meet up at precise points in space? How do our spacecraft designed and built across NASA and different partners operate together in an integrated way in an unforgiving environment? We will learn how to fly these new spacecraft with new software, new life support systems. Every aspect of Artemis III will give us insight into how to refine our plans for Artemis IV and beyond and buy down risk. The mission, together with the uncrewed lander demonstrations to the moon, is specifically designed and targeted to the most significant risk for a lunar landing. We have many partners involved in making Artemis III successful, and while we recognize there are questions about how Blue Origin's recent anomaly impacts our plans, setbacks are a learning opportunity. We are confident that New Glenn will be ready for Artemis III, together with Blue Origin, but NASA is stepping in and bringing all of our expertise and capabilities to bear. We are working hand in hand with them to meet our commitments to return our nation to the moon. Let me assure you, NASA is taking an active role with all of our partners, contractors, and vendors to help solve the problems that are here today and ensure the right outcomes are achieved. These companies have unparalleled access not only to our agency experts, but also to our test facilities, launch support, technology development at all of the NASA centers across the country. Fundamentally, our approach to Artemis III will remain the same. We will use this mission to reduce risk for our future crewed moon missions with lander test articles from both Blue Origin and SpaceX to ensure we will beat China back to the moon. So we've talked about accelerating the Artemis cadence, and so I wanted to share with you a little about how the pieces of Artemis III are coming together. Our partners are making great progress on lander development. SpaceX's recent flight of its version 3 Starship demonstrated key aspects of their architecture and lander designs, and they are already applying those lessons to their next flight test. Blue Origin's Mark I lander recently completed vacuum testing here at Johnson Space Center. We have a training cabin that's been set up. Astronauts are actively working through that training. The Orion Crew Module and its European-built service module are on track to be integrated together this summer, including the new docking system, which will fly for the first time on Artemis III. Our improved heat shield has been fully inspected and is ready to be installed. We are going to bring updated communication technologies to our missions, including adding optical communication to the spacecraft to improve our data exchange between Orion and the ground. We expect that to enhance what the public can see during the mission. SLS core stage processing is well underway inside the Vehicle Assembly Building at Kennedy Space Center. It arrived there in April, and teams have already mated the 2 segments of the core stage and will install the 4 RS-25 engines later this summer. Design and fabrication of a spacer that will replace the upper stage on Artemis III, because we're flying in low Earth orbit, is already in fabrication at NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center in Alabama. And for the ground systems, when we talk about acceleration, one of the best examples I've seen is that just 17 days after the launch of Artemis II, the mobile launcher was back in the Vehicle Assembly Building, well underway with refurbishment and preparations for stacking. Our teams are getting ready too. The launch team at Kennedy Space Center began conducting launch countdown simulations in May, which include practicing procedures to load propellant into SLS, as well as for launch countdown. At Johnson, mission segments are being simulated and crew training is well underway. Our spacesuit provider, Axiom Space, is making great progress as well. We have suit testing ongoing regularly at the Neutral Buoyancy Lab down the road here in Houston. Pressure garments worn under the suit are fully assembled and undergoing testing, and the components of the suit's primary life support system are in hand and being integrated. We are going to fly the spacesuit aboard the International Space Station to check it out in 2027, and we will perform hardware interface checkouts on at least 1 lander in a spacesuit during Artemis III. Again, this is an area where NASA is taking an active hand. We want to accelerate these deliveries, this hardware, and we're embedding NASA engineers across the board with Axiom and with partners in order to yank schedules to the left. All of this culminates in a mission where for Artemis III, the hardware is real, and we are going to begin stacking SLS rocket hardware this summer. This fall, we plan to roll out a shortened SLS stack with Orion on top. We want to test improved cryogenic seals and put our launch team through their paces, keep the training proficiency up. With an increased mission cadence, we're bringing everything we can to ramp up production and drive supply chain improvements across the key components of Artemis and across the United States. We are also moving aggressively to implement modifications to Orion that enable a broader range of lunar missions after Artemis III. This includes looking how Orion can rendezvous in Earth orbit with Starship and use that ship to push Orion to a lunar orbit. So I shared where the hardware is, but let me talk a little bit more about what we expect Artemis III to look like. Artemis III is an incredibly exciting, complicated, and highly coordinated multi-launch campaign. It's going to happen in a short period of time with 3 of the world's most powerful rockets. It will begin with the launch of Blue Origin's lander test article, which can loiter up into space for up to 90 days. This gives us flexibility to launch our crew of 4 and Orion on the powerful Space Launch System launched from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The crew will fly their journey in low Earth orbit on a circular trajectory around Earth. Orion and the Blue Origin lander design will rendezvous in space, spending about 2 days in docked operations, conducting test technology demonstrations, including inside of Blue Origin spacecraft. More importantly, we intend to dock, perform integrated stack control, have crew cross the hatch, operate the lander, and get critical test of the life support systems that can only be done in space. This gives our teams key information on systems the lunar lander crew will depend on in an environment close to home versus 4+ days away around the moon. After docked operations, Orion will detach and await Starship. SpaceX's Starship lander test article will launch and meet up with Orion and our crew. Orion and Starship will dock, be connected together for about a day before the crew transitions to preparations for returning home, splashing down in the Pacific Ocean to a waiting recovery team made up of the US Navy and NASA. In total, we expect the mission to last around 2 weeks. This mission is deliberately designed to take calculated risks so that future crews will be safer and ultimately successful when we put boots on the lunar surface. The complexity of our integrated operations across multiple launches, spacecraft, rendezvous, docking is greater in many ways than Artemis II. NASA, together with our partners, thrives in these challenging situations. Each of us are coming together for success. Human spaceflight is not for those who want to chart an easy course, but every decision we make about Artemis III will be informed about how it can help us ensure our mission success for the lunar surface. Artemis II reminded the world what we can do when we move together with clarity, discipline, and shared purpose. What the world saw was a successful mission. What we saw behind the scenes was years of coordination, planning, testing, problem solving, and collaboration with industry partners and government organizations. We are going to apply that same focus for Artemis III, and our teams are ready. To our crew, thank you for taking on this responsibility to train and fly for Artemis III. You have our commitment that we will do everything possible to keep you safe as you enable us to push the boundaries of space exploration. I'll now turn things over to John Caloris of Blue Origin.
Thank you. As you know, we had a significant anomaly at our Launch Complex 36A on May 28th. The response from NASA, our partners, and customers has been extraordinary. We're making excellent progress on the investigation and pad cleanup. We'll begin rebuilding once cleanup is complete, while continuing construction at Launch Complex 36B. Blue Origin's lunar engineering and production teams are continuing the pace for production of Mark I landers for Moon Base and for Artemis vehicles, with multiple serial numbers in build. Mark I serial number 1 testing will conclude soon and will be ready for launch this year. The mission will demonstrate key components of our Artemis landers, such as our BE-7 engine. Artemis III is a major step that fills important objectives prior to our uncrewed landing on the moon in 2028, followed by our landing of astronauts that same year. On this mission, NASA and Blue Origin will demonstrate rendezvous, docking, hatch operations, ingress, and life support systems in low Earth orbit. This will allow the crew to gain familiarity with our Lunar Crew Module and even practice operations such as suit donning in zero gravity. Manufacturing is well underway on the Artemis III Mark II Lunar Crew Module, our storable reaction control system, our docking systems, and our environmental control and life support system. Our factories are running around-the-clock shifts in a responsible manner. Our vertical integration capabilities continue to produce hardware that feeds the production floor. We work very closely with NASA on engineering and testing support with more to come. We expect to complete the vehicle for Artemis III and be ready for launch in 2027. Blue Origin is very motivated to be part of the journey of returning humans to the moon. We've redoubled our efforts and are moving forward. I'm thrilled that we're just moments away from announcing NASA's Artemis III crew. I'd like to also say that the moon is the 8th continent, and we will measure ourselves not only by our successes, but how we respond to setbacks. With that, I'd like to introduce my friend Jessica Jensen from SpaceX.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jessica Jensen, and on behalf of SpaceX, I want to first say early congratulations to the astronauts who will get to fly on this awesome mission next year. And thank you for the critical role you're about to play in pushing humanity forward. I also want to say that SpaceX is incredibly honored, as always, to continue to be a part of NASA's most critical missions as we all work together to establish a permanent human presence on the moon. I'm here today to give an update on Starship's development towards Artemis III and Artemis IV. We've made substantial progress towards developing Starship and preparing for the NASA HLS missions. We just flew our 12th flight test and successfully debuted version 3, or V3, of the Starship and Super Heavy booster, along with the new Raptor 3 engines and a new launch pad, all of which were developed through years of ground and flight testing. We are currently building several ships and boosters in parallel at Starbase, and we are actively building out 3 more Starship launch pads in Florida and Texas. We believe this, combined with full reusability, is going to lead to unprecedented launch rates and achieving aircraft-like operations, which has always been our goal. The V3 design of Starship is planned to be the vehicle for propellant transfer, our uncrewed missions to the moon, and for the HLS crewed lunar landing. Our HLS design and operations leverage years of proven experience from our NASA crew and cargo missions to the space station, from our high flight rate on Falcon 9, which is currently once every 2.5 days, and from reusability of Falcon fairings and boosters. Additionally, the docking hardware we're using for HLS is nearly identical to what we use currently on Dragon, and many of the rendezvous and proximity sensors that we're going to use for prop transfer and HLS have been flying on Dragon missions for many years. We're also actively building our first flight fidelity Starship HLS cabin at Starbase. The primary structure is assembled and prepared to be outfitted with key functional systems like avionics, power, life support systems, and more to come in the next few months. Later this year, we are targeting our in-space ship-to-ship propellant transfer demonstration. This is a core technology that will enable Starship to land humans and massive amounts of cargo on the moon. Then next year, we'll support Artemis III and the planned rendezvous and docking with Orion in low Earth orbit. For that mission, we're going to be using a V3 vehicle off the line with an added docking adapter. We are also marching towards our V3 Starship uncrewed lunar landing. This is another HLS milestone that will further demonstrate propellant aggregation in space and also a safe and autonomous landing on the surface of the moon. Then looking ahead to Artemis IV, we're continuing to develop all the crewed systems and certification necessary for the safe landing and return of astronauts to Orion. We have an updated plan with NASA that includes docking Starship with Orion in Earth orbit instead of NRHO, and then we use Starship to actually do the translunar injection with Orion attached. Then it will send them both to low lunar orbit before the landing. This approach improves crew safety by first conducting the critical docking event in Earth orbit, just like we're going to practice in Artemis III, and the crew can also abort off the lunar surface nearly any time versus waiting up to days from NRHO. In addition to improving crew safety, these new Artemis IV orbits also significantly lower the amount of propellant Starship needs to aggregate in space, since we now just have a more direct route to the moon. And this lowers schedule risk overall. We're incredibly excited to help return humans to the moon once again, and this time to stay. Thank you. And now I will turn it over to Dr. Nikki Fox, head of NASA Science. And she is going to talk about Artemis III science.
Thank you so much, Jessica. Well, while Artemis II was all about moon joy, Artemis III will be all about Earth joy. We will be studying the route from Earth, and our Artemis III crew will be our mission scientists. Since Artemis III is a technical mission, the science we will be doing will look just a little bit different. We will study Earth's atmosphere, the environment around Orion during the mission, and the impact of space's influence within the Orion capsule. We're going to use this flight to buy down our risk for landed missions by developing our science processes, procedures, and readiness specifically for Orion to ensure the health and safety of our astronauts and spacecraft for our future Artemis missions. And the best way to do it is by taking real data that is uniquely enabled by this mission. For this technical and complex mission, we will focus on how we can better work with the unique Orion capsule and test and establish the necessary groundwork prior to landing on the mission with Artemis IV. With Artemis III, we will initiate the preparation phase of packing our interplanetary survival guide with the necessary knowledge, equipment, and roadmap needed to plant astronaut boots back on the lunar surface to stay. Think of it this way. If you're going on a road trip, you need to know before you go ahead of time and prepare with a game plan, not just for your destination, but for driving through all of the states in between. Weather. Will there be bad weather? Is your car ready for the trip? What do you need to pack for maximum comfort? And most importantly, will it all actually fit into the car? Leading SMD's Artemis III science team is Dr. Barbara Cohen. Barbara's team will be gathering the necessary information now so we can be ready for Artemis IV to begin that sustained presence on the lunar surface. Now, I know you all saw the joy of the science team during Artemis II. During Artemis III, we are continuing that great work to build up our scientist corps who will support future Artemis missions. By nailing down our processes now, we will be ready to hit the lunar surface running, saving time and space on Orion, and above all, squeezing out every drop of the critical science opportunities we have before us to make future missions a success. They will be collecting unique science that cannot be done elsewhere. Now, one way we'll be doing this is we'll be doing an observation campaign of the dynamic phenomena on the Earth, on our sun, and around the environment in space from Orion by using the processes that we developed for Artemis II. Having the Artemis III crew observe the Earth will be another great exercise for our teams to help guide the observations in a similar way on the Moon. These methods were adapted from the crew Earth observations proven already aboard the International Space Station. We will be focused particularly on understanding our Earth's atmosphere and the space environment in and around Orion through their observations. By observing Earth's atmosphere and how space weather impacts it, we can better understand how to protect the critical space-based technology there and all of that we rely on, as well as our future astronaut crews traveling through that region. To better predict how the sun will impact our atmosphere and also Orion, we have to not only look at our closest star, but we also have to look back at the Earth's atmosphere itself. Although the astronauts are not leaving the protective jacket of Earth's magnetosphere during this mission, future Artemis crews traveling to and exploring on the Moon and Mars will operate well outside Earth's magnetosphere and will be exposed to the harshest elements of deep space, including radiation. Now, this makes space weather research all the more vital as we move forward on the Artemis program, and our NASA space weather stations situated in strategic locations across our solar system are absolutely ready. When the sun triggers space weather events, the conditions in Earth's atmosphere can increase drag on the spacecraft. Now, this friction-like force pushes back against the vehicle, gradually draining its orbital energy and causing it to lose altitude over time, a process that we call orbital decay. This drag is highly sensitive to solar activity. So by analyzing atmospheric behavior, we can gain insight into different conditions by looking at how the atmosphere slows Orion down at different points in its flight. Understanding the environment outside Orion will also inform us of what future science instruments we could put on the outside of that vehicle. We're also using our ground-based assets across the world to look at Orion in low Earth orbit. And this is an opportunity that was not possible during the Artemis II mission due to the very quick time they spent in LEO. We are also characterizing the Orion capsule itself. We are going to initiate processes for Artemis contamination control and contamination knowledge by bringing samples out of Orion back to curation so we can identify and evaluate the environment within for our astronaut crew and for our future lunar samples. This will help us remove any background noise that may return with our lunar samples so we can subtract it out of the characterization of the samples and really get to the core of what they are. We will be doing all of this while also studying how our crew safely live and operate in space and within the Orion capsule, thereby ensuring future mission success. Now, we're still at the beginning with our planning for science, so stay tuned as there will be more exciting science yet to ride along with Artemis III. I am extremely excited for NASA to build upon the success of Artemis II and then Artemis III and to explore more of the moon, to build that sustained presence and to build our moon base to prepare for the next giant leap, human exploration of Mars. All while we lead the world doing paradigm-shifting science. At NASA, science enables exploration, and exploration enables science. And NASA Science is honored to take our part in the Artemis generation. And with that, I am delighted to hand it back to Administrator Isaacman.
Okay. So you want to find out who the astronauts are? All right. Well, thank you, Jeremy, John, Jessica, and Nikki for providing these incredible updates. Now, before we proceed, I would like to invite Vanessa, our center director here, to please join me on the stage. I'd also like our deputy administrator, Matt Anderson, if you could join us, our associate administrator, Amit Trushia, director general of the European Space Agency, Josef Aschbacher, and Lori Glaze, who's going to lead our human spaceflight efforts, Norm Knight, our flight operations director, and Scott Tingle, our chief astronaut. If you would, please join us on the stage. Now, alongside the prime crew, we have a backup crew member who will train shoulder to shoulder with them to ensure mission readiness and continuity. Test pilot Air Force colonel, and former SpaceX Crew 4 pilot, stands ready to join the team if necessary, Artemis III backup crew member, Bob Hines. Now, Bob has logged 170 days in space across 2 ISS expeditions and can step into any role needed on this mission. Now, moving on to our mission specialist for Artemis III, test engineer and Coast Guard Reserve Commander, making his first space flight, mission specialist Andre Douglas. And we have Army Black Hawk helicopter pilot, family medicine physician, and record-setting astronaut, mission specialist, Colonel Frank Rubio. Now on to our pilot, 2-time flyer, ESA astronaut, the first Italian space station commander, an Italian Air Force colonel and test pilot, Luca Parmitano. Now to our commander, 2-time astronaut, former space station commander, Marine Corps colonel, and test pilot with more than 7,000 flight hours, Artemis III commander, Randy Bresnik. All right, let's give it one more round of applause for your Artemis III prime crew.
Randy, Luca, Frank, and Andre, I am excited to welcome you as the next crew in the Artemis journey to successfully return to the moon, this time to stay. This mission will be one of the most complex that NASA has undertaken, and we are counting on your courage and your dedication in fulfilling this critical role. It also underscores the importance of both international and commercial collaboration. This crew is comprised of astronauts from NASA and ESA, and they will train together to develop their expertise in multiple spacecraft from our commercial partners. All of this while working hand in hand with the flight control team that works tirelessly to manage risk, ensure crew safety, and of course, mission success. This multifaceted integration demonstrates that we will go farther faster when we go together. As the Director of Flight Operations, I have the opportunity to get to know every astronaut as well as many of the team members that support our missions and other critical integral roles. These integrated teams are the backbone of the mission, working as a single entity to accomplish the mission objectives while aligning to crew and vehicle safety. I would also like to thank the families of our astronauts and those of our team members who provide the support that allow us to accomplish these ambitious goals for our country and humanity. To simply say, I am encouraged, I'm inspired, and I'm filled with hope when I think of this mission and the teams associated with it. To the Artemis III crew, each of you possess a unique background, and your vast experience and unwavering dedication to NASA's mission enables you to help make us and take this next great step in space exploration. I am proud to work alongside you as we make our mark on history. This mission begins now, and it will conclude with your safe return to Houston, where you will be reunited with your families. Now, I'm honored to turn it over to Mission Specialist Andre Douglas.
Wow, what an amazing day it is today. My brain, it is going a mile a minute right now, but my heart, it is so warm. It is so full. And I can't thank everybody who's been along with my journey, but I got a few tonight I got to give a shout out to. So Mom, thank you so much for believing in me, this whole time. All these years, you prayed for me, you thought about me, and I always appreciate that. And Dad, that work ethic that you showed, I was trying to emulate you. Thank you so much. Oh, by the way, happy early Father's Day. And to Rachel, my lovely wife, thank you, babe. The support you've given is unwavering. It has been a lot. What a journey. I'm so glad you're on this journey with us. It's just amazing. You're amazing. Couldn't have done it without you. I love you so much. And to my boys, if you put in the hard work, and you think big, you can do just about anything you want to do. Surround yourself with good people. You can do this. You can do whatever you want. You just got to try hard. All right? So, I don't have enough time to go through everybody out there, but we really appreciate you guys supporting us. This mission is going to be fantastic. What an excellent crew. Very proud to serve with these gentlemen. Very fine crew. And go Artemis, go NASA.
Thanks, Trey. Well said. And wow is the right word. What an incredible blessing and an honor it is to be standing here representing all of you. And I'd just like to take a quick second to say thank you, first and foremost, to my wife and our 4 amazing kids. Thank you for your sense of adventure and your resiliency. You guys have made all of this possible. To our to our community of friends and family who've always been there when we most needed them, we've called upon them many times and they've always stepped up. So thank you guys. You know who you are. And then last but absolutely not least is to the NASA team, NASA community, to our leadership, to our engineers, our flight controllers, our flight directors. You guys are the ones that make this happen. So thank you. And last, but definitely not least, is to our peers, CB, and all the support staff that we have. We look forward to representing you guys and to helping take the next step so that we can watch you guys continue to make history. So thank you, and go Artemis III.
I apologize in advance if I get emotional. I'm honored by the role that I've been given. I'm also very humbled by the task in front of us. But first and foremost, I'm grateful. There are many parts that need to come together for a space launch. And you need a launch pad. And for me, that launch pad is my country, Italy, its education system, the Italian Air Force that gave me the professional tools to bring me here today, the Italian Space Agency that gave me the first flight to put those skills to proof, and for that I'm very grateful. The European Space Agency is like a launch tower, connecting these two worlds, building bridges, its very nature is to build relationships and building bridges, connections, and to elevate individuals to achieve their full potential. The rocket, figuratively and literally, is NASA. I'm grateful that NASA has allowed me to be part of this incredible group of people, of this crew, and for letting me fly. But we wouldn't be going anywhere without fuel, and the fuel that lets everything move is right here. Maya, Sarah, Marta, my extended family here in the crowd. You are the energy that feeds my soul. And your love is the spark that ignites every passion. Thank you. Grazie.
I'll echo the amazing words of my colleagues. Wow. It is an honor and a blessing to be a part of such a stellar crew. I must also say thanks to our spouses and our families. Without their support and sacrifice, we would not be standing up here before you right now. To my wife, Rebecca, you're the love of my life, my rock, thank you. And it's the It is their support of our families that's going to carry forward from today, when we start training very soon, carry us all the way to when we launch off Earth, until we are returned to them safely after splashdown back here on planet Earth. Would also like to thank the Astronaut Office leadership, Flight Operations Directorate, and the NASA Johnson Space Center leadership for the opportunity to represent the Astronaut Corps and every single person in NASA, ESA, our industry partners, our international partners, whose blood, sweat, and tears, okay, hopefully not blood, and very few tears, but their collective effort will lift all of us up, on that SLS rocket when we hit launch day and carry us through the mission. We'd also like to thank NASA leadership and our ESA leadership for the opportunity to represent all of humanity from this spaceship Earth that we will carry forward into the Artemis as we execute this Artemis mission, extending human spaceflight into the future and exploring the cosmos. Now, spaceflight is hard, and that's why the most important Artemis mission will always be the next Artemis mission, where we are doing flight tests on every single flight, incrementally determining the flight envelope, expanding it, proving out capabilities, and making the operational procedures that we have more and more precise. Because every single mission we will do after this will be more challenging and more complex. We are certainly humbled as a crew to be able to be your crew that executes this Artemis III mission in space, being that unifying link between the phenomenal Artemis II mission we just had 2 months ago and the Artemis IV mission that will follow ours, where we will again be the first to land humans on another celestial body, that celestial body being our neighbor in the sky at night, the moon. Thank you.
In the words of the crew, wow. That was truly special. Thank you, Artemis III crew. Hearing from each of you has inspired everyone supporting this mission across the globe. We're all in. This mission is going to captivate the world and bring us Earth joy. Let's look ahead at what's in store for Artemis III. Another wow. Artemis brings us together, uniting partners from around the world in pursuit of a common goal. With that spirit of global collaboration, I would now like to invite ESA Director General Josef Aschbacher back on stage for a few remarks.
Wow, what an atmosphere, what a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, days like this do not come often, when history is not something we remember, but something we are about to make. Just weeks ago, at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida, I had the privilege of witnessing the launch of Artemis II. It was an unforgettable moment. Artemis III will be a different mission, but no less remarkable. Before anyone sets foot on the moon, someone has to make that possible. That responsibility now rests first and foremost with NASA, but also with the crew we are honoring today. The crew will test what has never been tested at this level, You will take a system of extraordinary complexity and make it work as one. In many ways, you are unlocking the lunar landing itself. And for us at ESA, there is real pride in knowing that alongside the NASA commander, a European astronaut will also be at the controls of this mission. ESA and NASA do more than cooperate. We build dreams and spacecraft together. The European Service Module carries Orion forward into orbit to the moon. Shared ambition made tangible in hardware. And on Artemis III, our partnership is in the capsule as well. It's Luca, a test pilot by training with 2 missions to space, a commander of the International Space Station. He has seen spaceflight from every angle that matters. Colonel in the Italian Air Force, combat ready, qualified, highly decorated, a proud father of 2 daughters. And he has been tested. During a spacewalk early in his career, his helmet began to fill with water, a dangerous situation by any standard. He handled it with calm and clarity and brought himself back safely. That tells you more about an astronaut than any CV ever could. Luca is precise, composed, and determined. Yes, I'm sure he brings a touch of Italian ease to the cockpit. He is exactly the right person for this role, and he is ready. At ESA, we are ready as well. Our 23 member states are aligning to step up in exploration. Because when you choose to be part of something as ambitious as Artemis, you contribute. That is what we do, what we will continue to do. But today is not about programs. It is about people, those who once went to the moon and those now preparing to return. To Jared, to NASA, to the United States of America, thank you for your leadership and thank you for your partnership. To the crew of Artemis III, you carry something important for all of us. And to our ESA crew member, we could not have wished for a better pilot. Caro Luca, siamo orgogliosi di te. Buon volo. Thank you all.
Thank you, ESA Director General Aschbacher. Let's now take a look at some special messages recorded by Senator Ted Cruz, Chairman of the Commerce, Science, and Transportation Committee, and Representative Brian Babin, Chairman of the House Science, Space, and Technology Committee.
Congratulations on being chosen for the Artemis III mission. It's a big damn deal. Following the extraordinary success of Artemis II, America has entered a bold new era of space exploration and discovery. Under the leadership of Administrator Jared Isaacman, NASA is paving the way for humanity's return to the moon and beyond. As the chairman of the Senate Commerce Committee, I've been proud to author or co-author nearly every major piece of space legislation in the last 14 years. I've led the fight to advance the NASA Authorization Act and secured landmark investments in the Working Families Tax Cut Act to ensure the future of Artemis is bright, robust, and enduring. Now this crew, each of you, will turn those investments into reality. At a time of growing competition with China in space, this mission will strengthen America's leadership, expand our economy, and help secure a lasting American lunar presence. When America commits to a mission, we lead and we succeed. You will make our nation proud. Thank you for your commitment to this great nation's space program, and may God continue to bless the United States of America.
Hi, everybody. Congressman Brian Babin. Congratulations to the Artemis III crew. Following the successful mission of Artemis II, your selection marks another historic milestone in America's return to deep space. Each Artemis mission builds upon the last one, And the mission ahead is a critical next step as we prepare to return humans to the lunar surface and lay the foundation for a sustained presence on the moon alongside our international partners. You're carrying forward a very proud tradition of exploration that stretches from Mercury on to Apollo and now to Artemis. Through your dedication, courage, and service, you will help open a new chapter in humanity's journey beyond Earth. As you begin preparing for this mission, please know that you have the support of the American people. We will be praying for your training, for your families, and for your success in the months ahead. I am deeply honored to play a small part in supporting America's space program. I'm very proud of each of you for answering the call to explore. May your mission inspire future generations to dream boldly, to dare greatly, and to carry the spirit of discovery farther than ever before. God bless you. Thank you.
The story of human space exploration continues to inspire, and the momentum carries forward as the spotlight turns to the remarkable crew assembled here today. Randy, Luca, Frank, and Andre, we have a special group of people who would like to share some words with each of you. Joining us now, we have some of the Artemis II crew. Please help me in welcoming Reed, Victor, and Christina.
All right, comrade Randy, Luca, Frank, our backup, Andre, Douglas, so good to see your family out there. So good to see all the families. On behalf of myself, Christina, Victor, and we all know Jeremy wishes he was going to be here today, that he could be here. We just want to say how completely fired up we are for you. I hope you saw us down there cheering, screaming as loud as we could. And Randy, in your comments, I really loved when you said that you all are the link from two to the surface. And that really resonated with me. And you guys know, because you work in the office, we've been carrying these batons around for way too long. And so with that, the Artemis II crew, comrade, hands you the baton. You got the controls.
I know all of us are very touched by the thoughtful symbolism of the passing of the baton. But I think now, after your mission, you're passing us something far greater. The world watched your mission. And over the course of those 10 days, we saw how you inspired people worldwide. You saw how something was ignited within people. It was ignited within all of us by watching your mission. While this may look like just a baton, right now it's in my hand, it feels like this big flaming, Olympic torch that you, Reed, Christina, Victor, and Jeremy lit. And the world was entranced by its flame for the 10 days of the mission. We, the Artemis III crew, are honored to be able to carry this torch forward, to be able to execute our mission, to make that flame burn brighter and pass it on. And be able to pass that flame on to the next crew that's out here. And so it is our distinct honor and privilege and echoing the immortal words of Apollo 11's Michael Collins, to be carrying the fire through the next Artemis mission. Thank you.
What an incredible moment. As we wrap up today's announcement, I'd like to thank our amazing speakers and our esteemed guests, and most of all, our Artemis III crew, Randy, Luca, Frank, and Andre. As you prepare to embark on this next giant leap, know we stand united, ready to support you at every turn with mission excellence, pushing the boundaries of what's possible for the benefit of all humanity. Let's give one final round of applause for our crew.